Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Another session, another satsang, another Sunday. So we are very pleased to be here with you tonight. Tonight's subject is freedom through abundance. So we're going to be looking at freedom and we're going to be looking at abundance. And I think you'll agree that both of those subjects are very dear to our hearts at the moment, freedom and abundance. So I think it's quite an important subject for us to take a look at this evening.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. I see some people are joining us. Thank you very much for coming. Hi, Wendy. I see you coming up on the screen. We're getting a lovely community. Claire, hi there. Nice to see you again. Hope you've all had a good, relaxing weekend at home.
Yeah, I take it you've been at home. If it's anything like us, we've grown quite fond of staying at home at the moment. We did go out for a brief walk yesterday, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Everybody had masks on.
Yeah, that's right. So what we're going to be doing this evening is we're going to start off with a lovely guided visualization, meditation, which Michelle is going to lead us through. And then we're going to talk a bit about freedom, and we're going to be talking a lot about abundance. And then to close the evening, we will do another guided visualization to take us into a very powerful place to connect with our true creative energy, from which we create. And we've got to learn to harness that energy. And while we are gathered here tonight, it's to be mindful of the true purpose in coming together like this every week, every few days actually at the moment. The true purpose, yes, we have a purpose of sharing what we have to share with you, sharing our wisdom and our love with you, and that is important. But the real reason that we get together like this is for us to build up a community of light, a community of love. What the world needs right now is not more cleverness, not more manipulating strategies in the mind. It needs more open-heartedness. And so what our intention is with setting up this group is to set up a community of like-minded people and light-hearted people. So as we sit here tonight, just focus continually back into your heart and feel your heart opening. The crisis we are experiencing at the moment is because of a closedness of heart. And this is the ultimate outplay of having lived so long in fear, because that's what a closed heart is, it's fear. And so our major work right now is an opening our heart in compassion and empathy, and allowing the light to flow through us into the world. This is really important work at this time for the evolution of the human species, to become this channel of light and love to flow through us. So that's the main reason why we're here tonight. The secondary reason is to have some fun and to maybe learn a little bit about freedom and abundance. So thank you for joining us tonight. Without you, it wouldn't be the community that it is. Thank you. If you are enjoying what you're hearing, please like it and share it. And we see quite a few hearts coming up. We really love getting the hearts. And if there are any questions as we move through tonight, you can type them out. We may get a few of those. We may get to a few questions as we move through the evening. Otherwise, we will get to them after the show is finished. And we always like to know, we're very interested to know where you come from. So if you can just give us an indication of what town or city you're from, which part of the world you're in, that's very interesting to see how far our light is spreading throughout the world. And then afterwards, after we finish, this does become a video on Facebook. And it's great to share it, to get this vibration out into the world. We have an abundance of fear and negativity at the moment. So let's initiate an abundance of love and light. In the newsletter I sent out a couple of weeks ago, I spoke about the 3 viruses. And the first virus is, we know about that one, we won't speak about that. But the second virus is the virus of fear. And that's the one that's doing the danger. That's the one that's doing the damage. That's the one that keeps us imprisoned. And that's the one we must avoid. That's the one that's perpetrated particularly through the media at this time. And the third virus is the one we want to get. We want to catch that one. And that's the virus of love. That's the virus that connects us all in a greater community. So
and it's catchy.
It's really catchy. Spread it, spread it, and catch it if you can. So that's the virus that we intend through these Facebook Live programs and the other work that we're doing. We aim to spread that virus as far and wide as we can. So let us know where you're from, which part of the world you're from. We love to know where the light is shining in the world through this particular avenue, through the particular vessel. So thank you for joining us.
Thank
yes.
you. Yeah.
And let me hand over to Michelle.
Okay. So let's all just connect to start with, because that's a good place to start. It puts us all in the same place, even though we're in different places. Thank you for the hearts. So I invite you just to close your eyes and to take a nice deep breath in and a releasing breath out. And just settle down, get yourself comfortable, feather your little nest wherever you're sitting, and just connect, drop in to this moment, which will help you do through this little visualization or meditation that we're going to do. So just taking another nice deep belly breath in, so blow your belly out, so you breathe from your belly, and then bring it all the way up, 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 all the way up to the top of your lungs, and then do a big sigh out. I think we need to do another one of those. Nice deep breath in, and a huge releasing breath out. And just feel the relief when you release like that. So we're just focusing now. I'd like you to focus on just the sound of my voice. Just what you can hear in this very moment. Extend your hearing just a little bit further to hear what you can hear in the room around you. And then send your hearing out even further. See if you can hear any sounds outside or a little bit further away. So placing your complete attention on what you can hear, that's all. Hear the breath as it comes in through your nose and out through your mouth. You might even hear the beating of your own heart if you listen closely enough. Connect with that breath coming in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. And then take a breath in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. And feel the quality of that breath as you breathe in through your nose and you release it out through your mouth. You might notice the temperature of the breath. This beautiful, amazing life force that we're given, which we take advantage of, which just we get breathed. We don't have to really do anything. So that in itself is hugely abundant, that we have each breath all through our lives. As if you can just really be grateful for this breath that you have. Keeps you alive. Now connect with what you can smell. beautiful, amazing sense of smell. Imagine what life would be without the sense of smell. What can you smell in this moment? If you can really connect with the gratitude for your sense of smell. Taste what you can taste in your mouth. Imagine if you couldn't taste. That's another gift. See if you can connect with gratitude for being able to taste what you eat and drink. And now connect with your body. Just right now, right here, what are you feeling in this moment? Just connect with where you're feeling any areas of tightness or restriction or openness. Just get a sense of where you're at in your body right now. You might get a sense of a feeling, an emotion that comes up. Just be the witness to whatever's here in this moment. Imagine a beautiful light, like a gentle waterfall of light coming in through your head and making its way all the way down through your head and relaxing your head as it goes down. Relaxing all the muscles in your face, relaxing your jaw, dropping any tension that you hold in your head. Taking that light down into your neck, releasing your neck. Taking it down into your shoulders and releasing your shoulders. Bringing that light down into your hands. And notice that when you place your attention on your hands, what happens? Full attention on your hands. You might feel a tingling or a warmth. And now imagine that light going all the way down through your body and into your feet. Connect with what you can feel in your feet. Full attention on your feet. Then narrow it down to one foot. And change it to the other foot. Set your intention to bring your attention back to your hands. And then back to the feet. And just notice that when you intend to send your energy to a certain place, it flows there, which is part of the abundance flow. Wherever we place our attention, energy flows. So just bringing that light all the way down through your body and into the ground, spreading out like roots, holding you, supporting you, and connecting all of us on this call. Taking a spark of that light, setting it inside your heart, and radiating that light out from the very center of your heart. Taking a deep breath in and a releasing breath out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was beautiful.
Good.
Thank you. Yeah. Who of you feel a bit more centered now? Anyone feel a bit more centered, a bit more peaceful, a bit more connected?
Doesn't take long, you know.
Doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. And as I said last time, we do this exercise and we feel so much better, and we didn't change anything on the outside, but we changed everything on the inside. And that is a very important realization, is that it's our feelings on the inside that create our experience. Irrespective of the circumstance on the outside, we can always change our experience here. In the past, in the old world that we used to live in, we used to look at the circumstances and the situations and the events of our life to determine how we felt on the inside. The new world that we're stepping into now is the other way around. The new world is an inside-out job. So what we hold on the inside, we're going to find manifesting on the outside very, very quickly now. And if we hold feelings of stress and anxiety and fear on the inside, these will play out in the world of circumstance on the outside. But if we hold feelings of connection and love and joy and peace and gratitude on the inside, these are also going to have an immediate effect on the world around us. That's how powerful we are. That's how very, very powerful we are.
Yeah, and you know, that little exercise that we did right there, you connect with your 5 senses. So if you feel that you're overwhelmed by the outside world and you just connect with those 5 senses, it'll straight away take you into the moment. And in that moment, you can actually feel gratitude, which is kind of connected to abundance. So it's very easy to access it if you actually go into your body, because that brings you into the present every single time. Doesn't matter where you are. You can do it in the traffic jam if you're allowed to drive.
Well, the traffic jam is walking down the corridor in the morning. That's the traffic jam at the moment. Yeah. So freedom, what is freedom? Freedom, possibly there are many ways of looking at freedom, but one of the ways is to say it's the ability to create, to experience what you really, really, really want. Now, the egoic mind has its priorities. The egoic mind wants certainty, it wants possessions, it wants experiences, it wants stuff to make it feel bigger, more complete. That's what the ego wants. But what I said there was that freedom is the ability to create what you really, really, really want. The first really is what the ego wants, which is generally stuff, situations, circumstances, people. That's what the ego wants. It's form. It's very form-based. The second really is what you've maybe been programmed to believe that a good person should have or should do. You know, I should serve more in the world, or I should do X, Y, Z, and you know, I should be a kinder person. Should be more, and I should have a better personality. Yes, definitely.
Should be a nicer person.
Should be a nicer person. That's a second really, and that's not what freedom is about. Freedom is about the third really, and the third really is, what does your heart yearn for? What does your heart yearn for? And you've heard me speak many times about the horizontal plane of time, moving from here and going to the future and getting stuff on the journey. And then we have the vertical plane. The vertical plane is the depth of life itself. And what's in the depth of life, those of you who've seen the Matrix DVD that I have, that short little one on the Matrix, will know that in the vertical plane, you find life itself. But you find love, you find peace, you find joy, you find gratitude. All of those are not on the horizontal plane. They're not dependent on situations, circumstances, and time. They're actually here in the present moment. So the third really is dropping into the vertical plane and allowing the isness of life to well up inside you. And you then experience the love, the grace, the gratitude, that's already here in the moment. So the ego has its priorities on the horizontal plane, but what you really, really want is in the heart, and that's in the vertical plane.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there was a teacher that I came across as a young teenager. He was known as the Sleeping Prophet. He was born in 18-something or other in America. A very simple man. He was a photographer and a Sunday school teacher, and he read the Bible from cover to cover every year throughout his whole life. But he had the amazing ability for his doctor to put him into like a hypnotic trance, and the doctor would then ask him medical questions. It's just, I won't go into the whole story of how that came about. And this voice would speak through Edgar, and it was a connection, direct connection to what's called the Akashic Fields. So he wasn't channeling some discarnate spirit. He was actually connecting directly with the Book of Life, with the Akashic Fields. And the doctor would ask him medical questions, and Edgar, a very simple man, would come up with this incredible medical knowledge. I mean, he did something like, I think it was 16,000 readings in his life. And on one of his readings, he said, well, this particular physical ailment has got to do with a past life. And that shocked the doctor, because the doctor didn't believe in past lives. And so then they started asking Edgar about these past lives, and they slowly built up life readings. And then this amazing depth of knowledge and of wisdom came through Edgar Cayce. And one of the things that I discovered as a teenager was his one saying, which he said that spirit is life. Now, if we asked about our life, we always relay our story. It's always about time. It's what happened yesterday and what's going to happen in the morrow. And that is the story of life. It's not life itself. But he said spirit is life. Now, in the vertical plane, this is spirit. This is life. And so he said, well, life is spirit. Yes, that's the vertical plane. And he says from that, the mind, though, is the builder. So Max Planck and Niels Bohr and Einstein, when they started to look at quantum physics, they said exactly the same thing. They said all of this reality, this physical chair, the desk, the walls, is actually solidified mind. All matter, said Max Planck, is mind. So the ultimate source of all physical matter is spirit playing out through mind. And how does mind interact with this physical reality? It interacts through fields of vibration, fields of energy. And the way that we access this creative process is through the thoughts we think and the feelings we feel. Now this, we discovered this in 1920, 1925, and yet it's still not taught at school. It's definitely not taught in med school. They don't teach doctors that, in fact, the primary nature of the physical body is vibration, energy, and with our thoughts and with our emotions, we physically alter our body. We know we can change the genetic structure by altering our thoughts and altering our emotions. These have been done in many scientific experiments, but we still treat the body as a machine, and we treat our world as a machine. It's not a machine. It's actually a field. So when you start to look at reality as rather than objects in space, you start to see it as an interconnected field. And you directly relate to that field and create in that field through your thoughts and your emotions. And the question you have to ask really is, where are your thoughts and your emotions coming from? And if you think about it, most of your thoughts and most of your emotions are are respondents to your outside world. They're reactions to your outside world. So what controls your life is your outside world. And one of the major energies that is being perpetrated at the moment is the energy of fear. So ultimately, most people are creating out of fear. It's the thoughts of fear, the feelings of fear that are going out, rippling it in time and space, and creating the object reality that mirrors that fear within us. And I think this is a powerful teaching, because when we realize how powerful we are, we can start becoming masters of our thoughts and masters of our feelings instead of being servants of them. And that is the empowerment which I think mankind is now waking up to, which we're waking up to. And I think it puts a great responsibility on our shoulders to be mindful of what we think and what we feel, because these directly influence the field. Albert Einstein said that the field is the sole determinant of the particle. And what he was saying, well, every single atom has a field going around it, and if you change the field, you change the atom. And that relates from the micro to the macro. So everything that appears in our reality is coming out of a field of energy. And that field of energy doesn't speak English, doesn't speak Afrikaans.
It speaks emotion.
It speaks emotion. That's right. That field speaks emotion. So the feelings you have inside you are in direct communication all the time with the field. And another very interesting thing about the field, what they discovered is the field is something called non-local. And what that means in physics, it means that it's everywhere all at once. And if you change one part of a field, you change the whole field instantaneously. It doesn't take time for the energy to be transmitted from this part of a field to another part of a field. As you change your thoughts and your feelings, you change the entire human field. So right now, your heart is influencing the field. Your thoughts are influencing the field. And the question you have to ask yourself, are you coming from the matrix, the mind of fear, or are you coming from love? Now we know that the heart is way more powerful than the mind. But we, I think as a species, have been told to rather listen to the mind than the heart. To quote from Albert Einstein, he said, we have within us a wonderful, sacred gift. He said, we also have a rational servant, which is the logical mind. He said, we've created a whole society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. The gift is our intuitive and our love-based energy consciousness. The heart puts out two types of fields. It puts out an electric field and it puts out a magnetic field. The electric field that the heart puts out is 60 times more powerful than the one put out by the brain. The magnetic field that the heart puts out has been measured at 5,000 times more powerful than the mind. And yet we generally let the mind run our lives. The mind runs the world. And the mind, unless it's under the control or the guidance of spirit, is completely mad. It's out of control. It's a servant gone mad.
Like a wild monkey.
Like a wild monkey.
A whole troop of wild monkeys.
A whole troop of wild monkeys. Can anyone relate to that? Does anyone have a whole troop of wild monkeys on their shoulders? I think some of us do. And now we need to tame that troop of wild monkeys and bring them back under the guidance of wisdom. Wisdom has been sorely lacking in the world for many, many years now, for many, maybe hundreds, if not thousands of years. And we need to start honoring wisdom now. And the logical, analytical mind now needs to become our servant, and it needs to come under the guidance of our heart, if we want a new world, a better world, a more connected world, a world based on caring, compassion and love and joy. If that's the world we want to step into, then we have to start making the heart and the vibrations, the energies, the emotions of the heart more powerful than the ones that are created by the mind. Fear is created by the mind. Anxiety is created by the mind. Depression is created from the mind. Joy, we know, comes from the heart. And we have to start wisely choosing and consciously choosing which part of us we want to create with. Do we want to carry on creating from the limited fear-based mind, or do we want to start creating from the heart? And that's really the choice which we get.
And that's what's going to influence the field, and that's what's going to influence abundance, a feeling of abundance, whether it's an internal feeling or an outer feeling. That's what's going to influence it. So earlier on when I did that centering thing, I said, put your attention on your fingers. And you probably felt that. So it's just a reminder all the time that wherever you place your attention, your energy flows there. So if you are placing your attention on the hideous things that might happen all the time, well, that's going to just influence the field and you and everything else. It has to. It's a law. So you can dip into it, but if you live there, it's going to start really upsetting your whole energy field, and that upsets that feeling of abundance. Because for me, abundance is the feeling of being free, the feeling of being full, the feeling of having an abundant life, abundant connections with people, abundant creativity, abundant spiritual connection. I think a lot of people see abundance as the money, as having lots of money. And so
What about a yacht?
Yeah, these yachts and Ferraris and all that. So that's the one kind of level of what people see abundance as, which has got its place. But real abundance, true abundance, is actually inside us. And it doesn't really matter about how much money you've got, whether you've got a Ferrari or not. So it's really what we hold inside us and where we're sending our energy every moment, actually. This week on our Journey to Freedom course, we're actually looking at intention, inspired intention, which is where are you sending your energy in every moment. And the only way you can actually find that out is to be aware of it by standing on that midpoint, by saying, oh, my attention's just gone there. And do I want more of that, or do I want less than that? Because what we put our attention on grows, and what we take it off dies. So it's just something that I think it connects in with abundance.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you think about the media, where does the media want you to put your focus right now? There's a certain agenda out there, and it is grabbing your attention because it wants you to feed that particular viewpoint, that vibration of fear. That's what it wants, because it knows. The people who seem to control the media know that attention is energy. And if they can grab your attention, they can grab you and they can own you. So right now it's about taking back your power from the external environment and start to become the conscious creator of the world that you want to live in. It's not what you know that's generally a problem. It's what you don't know that you don't know. In other words, we have these subconscious programs running in the background here that we're not even aware of.
Oh, yeah, huge.
And freedom comes through consciousness. It doesn't come through ignorance. And I believe we need to be more aware of what is around us. We need to be more aware of the power that we have within us. With this awareness comes the freedom to choose. If you're running from unconscious programs from your education, your religion, your society programming, you're not free to choose. It's your parents that are choosing your thoughts. It's the media that are choosing your thoughts. And that's not freedom. Freedom is the ability to choose your own thoughts and your own feelings. Do you agree with that? If you do, just make a note or send us a little heart. Yeah.
No, it's absolutely that. And it's to be aware of, I think that the spiritual work or the work that we need to do is to sometimes unpack those belief systems. So very often we've, especially in connection with abundance and success and all of those things, is we've been conditioned since we were very young, some of us. You know, just those little things that parents would say, money doesn't grow on trees. You know, it's a tiny little thing. But that instills a belief system in us, which then gives us this feeling that we actually can't access enough money, as opposed to having the feeling that we absolutely can, that we are part of the universe, we're part of nature, we're part of this abundant planet. So why shouldn't we actually live an abundant life? But a lot of the time our conditioning says, no, you can't.
Yeah.
And that's what's driving it. That's
Yeah.
what's driving our fears. That's what's driving our actions. So we're actually we're working to actually pacify our fears about the future, as opposed to working just because we want to do something that we love to do. It's a completely different energy.
Yeah. As I said, the night that I stopped working for money quite a few years ago, I now work for the joy of working. I work because it's my passion to share what I share in the world. And the difference between working for money and working for passion is completely different. I mean, what a difference it makes in life.
Totally different.
A lot of people, I'm thinking of the older generation, you know, they were programmed through poverty, the Second World War, for example. Yeah. And there's a story which I've told a few times, and hopefully I'm not going to bore anyone here by telling them the story again. But there was a friend of mine who was a carer, and she was looking after a woman in Constantia here. Constantia in Cape Town's a very upmarket area. And she lived in a 20-acre property, 20 acres in Constantia. She had a lot of money. And she was an elderly woman in her 90s. And she had she had many wings in the house, and just the one wing was occupied, the rest was all closed down. And this elderly lady had a fridge, and the fridge was padlocked. And when some food was required, she'd give the carer the key. The key would go and open, the carer would go and open the fridge, and inside the fridge was like some, bit of cheese and an apple or something inside the fridge. And this woman had a poverty consciousness.
Yeah.
Now, she received money from the UK. I believe the figure was 100,000 rand a month that she had coming in. Never mind that all her needs were already met. So this woman had an abundance of money, but she didn't have the feeling, the experience of abundance. And she died at the age of, I think, of 106. But she died in poverty inside herself. She never had that experience of joy that we would expect abundance to give you, which you can expect abundance, because when you feel that feeling of abundance, that's what you have. You have that experience of a joyful dance of life. She never had that. Yeah.
And I think it's the case with a lot of people that sort of think that the money possibly is going to make them feel that joy. I mean, I think that most of us can relate to children that are unconditioned at that point, living joy and abundance. They don't have that conditioning. They're open. Their hearts are open. They're in the moment and they're just enjoying whatever they're doing, and they're abundant because that is an abundant life. Yeah.
And I think one of the things happens is that, we get a little bit of money and that makes us a little bit happier. So we think, well, more money is going to make us happier. We get one little ornament, we think, oh, that ornament make me happy, so let me go and get more ornaments. And eventually what we have all this stuff around us. And in fact, we become a slave to the stuff. And I remember my insurance broker many years ago telling me, he said, John, my most fearful and my most anxious clients are my wealthiest clients.
Absolutely.
And that's quite, it's quite a shock to hear that, because we all strive for this stuff, and yet we become prisoner of the stuff that we own. And there's a song by Chris Christopherson, a musician that I loved as a youngster, and one of his songs was Me and Bob McGee. Some of you will remember Me and Bob McGee. And the line from that is, freedom is having nothing left to lose.
Yeah.
And then you are free. It's wonderful. I remember when I went through an insolvency process, 20 years ago, and lost basically everything. And I remember standing in my front garden of a house I was about to lose and thinking, I just feel amazingly free. In that moment of losing everything physical, I felt this amazing freedom within me. And that's what's important, is the feeling inside, is it not?
Yeah, that's what abundance is. I had a client that happened to as well, and I'd done his chart, and I was looking at his chart, and when he arrived I said, what's happening in your life? Because I could see that something major was happening. So he gave me the whole story, and he said, I lost everything. He said, I'm living in one room from a mansion. So I said, well, how are you coping? And he said, I've never been happier in my life. I was amazed. I said, really? And he said, yeah. He said, I'm just free. He said, I realized how burdened I was by all of the worries and all of the hanging on to the money that I'd made. So it doesn't automatically come. A feeling of abundance does not automatically come with a lot of money. It's not aligned at all. You can feel abundant with absolutely no money.
You can. And one of the thought patterns or beliefs or perspectives on life is that there is an ocean of abundance above you. You can call it life, you can call it whatever you like. You imagine this huge ocean, and you are a tap. And all you have to do to receive this abundance from life, from the ocean of life, is open. You don't have to do, if hard work gave you abundance, I'd be massively abundant in physical possessions, because I've worked very hard in my life. I am abundant, but I'm not necessarily abundant in physical possessions. And I used to think, because I was programmed to work very hard, and you have to work very hard, and you have to worry a lot. If you worry a lot and work very hard, you're going to acquire a lot of stuff. And that is really, at my age, I can tell you that's not true. That really isn't true. Hard work doesn't equal that. And part of the process of of experiencing abundance is to know that there is this thing called life that is always ready to give you all your needs. Not your wants, not your desires, not your egoic wants and desires for its little fulfillment, but your actual needs, your real needs are always given to you by this abundance of ocean above you. And all you have to do as a tap is open. So this is what we spoke about in the beginning of this evening, was the importance of opening. And what is fear about? Do you think fear is an open emotion or a closed emotion? Do you feel more open when you're fearful or more closed? When you wear a mask, do you feel more open or do you feel more closed? And the answer is obvious. Fear closes you down. This whole process that we're going through, I mean, wearing this mask is to close you down. It's to close you down. And that is the energy which will create a world that we don't want to live in. And the openness, the smile. I mean, think of how opening a smile is compared to a frown or worry lines. So our job now is to open this tap and allow this real abundance of love and joy and fulfillment to come through us into the world. So we become, that poem of Hafez that I say every morning is, I am a hole in the flute that the Christ breath blows through. To become that emptiness. A blocked tap doesn't supply much water. An open tap supplies the water. And it's to become that openness to the joy of life. And that takes trust.
And when you put yourself into a position where you're open and in joy and in gratitude and enjoyment, that opens the tap. I mean, you and I have both experienced that. I know you experienced it with a retreat a few years ago, about 4 years ago. I went on a retreat to Greece. It was a huge spoil. And before I left, I put some newsletters out, and I left. I didn't take my computer, and I mean, I'm always working. And I didn't take anything with me. I came home, I had 2 full retreats that people had just appeared, and you had the same thing. And what that was for me was a huge lesson of, you don't have to sit with your head and your face in a frown, hammering away at work every day. You actually need to just enjoy yourself sometimes, because that opens the tap. And it did open the tap, and it does open the tap. But we forget it, because the conditioned mind says, no, why aren't you at your desk? And it doesn't always work like that. You also had a retreat that you went away. So,
I was overseas, and I came back, and my retreats were fully booked. I mean, where did that come from? Sometimes it's the 80-20 story. Open the tap. So it's to remain open. And we can learn that from nature. I mean, nature doesn't live in fear, doesn't live in anxiety. Well, if we have animals that are in close proximity to humans, they tend to pick up on our anxiety and fear, and they become neurotic quite often. But left to itself, nature does not know fear. It does not know anxiety. It doesn't at all.
Yeah, and I think that when we connect with nature, for me, one of the best ways for me to connect to abundance is to connect to nature. Because, you just have to look at the amount of leaves on a tree, the amount of grains of sand, the amount of flowers, it's just so abundant. And we're part of it. We're not separate from Mother Earth. We are absolutely not separate. So if you can connect with the abundance of Mother Earth every day and embrace that and bring it into your own being and send your own energy out, that's an abundance exercise that I think that we can do daily.
Yeah. If you're feeling a little bit of lack or a lack of abundance, just go outside and take a handful of sand and spend 5 hours counting each grain of sand. I promise you, at the end of 5 hours, you're going to realize that there's a lot of grains of sand just in one handful of sand. Look at a tree and count the leaves. Look at the abundance of blades of grass or birds. If you start to see the abundance that is around in nature, that seeing on the outside does create an inner experience. There's something called mirror neurons in us, And whenever we notice something on the outside, it actually lights up as if it were in us. And this is where Michelle was talking about attention. If you put attention on something, it grows in your awareness. If you start, and this is a very practical exercise you can do from right now, particularly tomorrow, you go out and you look and you acknowledge the abundance that's around you.
Yes.
You go into your cutlery drawer and look at the abundance of teaspoons. Or you go into your cupboard and look at the abundance of single socks, where the other half went, no one knows.
And Tupperware lids.
Tupperware lids. A lot of lids.
It's a planet full of socks and Tupperware lids, I'm sure.
Yeah. So if you start acknowledging the abundance that is always around us.
Yeah.
For example, breath. We have an abundance of breath, of air to breathe. It's free. They haven't taxed that yet. And so, just by bringing your focus, your attention on abundance in little ways. Look at the abundance of, if someone gives you, for example, a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, you feel that gratitude for the abundance of what's in this cup. That feeling within you ripples out into time and space, altering the field and altering your future experiences that are on the way to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's that gratitude. It's also just being very grateful about what you have been blessed with. So, like if you feel that you're not abundant, you could ask yourself the question, well, if somebody had to offer me some money for my eyes, what would I charge them?
You mean to give up your eye?
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't. They're worth much too much for me.
Yeah.
So what are you worth then? If you look at your eye and you look at your mouth and you look at your fingers and your hands and your legs, what would you trade them for? So if we say we're not abundant, then we're not looking deeply enough, because we are very abundant if we look at just our bodies, just that on its own.
Yeah, you look at one tooth. If you if you have to have a tooth extracted, one tooth extraction, you see how much that cost you. How many teeth have you got in your mouth? Your mouth alone is worth an absolute fortune. Yeah.
And I think also just another abundant thing is to give what you want. So if you feel that you lack money, give somebody money, even if you give them 10 rand, because you're demonstrating that you actually have it already to give. And so there's an energy in that. If you feel that you're not abundantly loved, then give more love. If you're not, so whatever you feel you're lacking, give more of that.
Yes.
If you feel that you don't have enough time, give some more time. Give time to somebody else. And very often when we're in a depression, if you just reach out to help somebody else, that depression goes away.
Because you release the serotonin in the brain. I mean, they've shown that the person giving the gift receives as much serotonin as the person receiving the gift. So if you want to, give yourself these very beautiful chemicals in the brain, go and give someone something. And people will say, but, for example, no one listens to me. Well, give listening. I mean, it's such a wonderful gift to give someone. It's just to hold the space while they express themselves. It's a wonderful gift to give, is the gift of just listening. And another tool which is really valuable is affirmation. We say thoughts, we have affirmations going in our mind all day long. I'm stupid, or I'm fearful, or whatever. And that's an affirmation. So what we need to do is start creating the right affirmations that we want. The most powerful affirmations are always contain 3 P's. The first P is they're personal. They're about you, not about someone else. You're not trying to manipulate someone else. It's about me. The second one is that it is positive. And the third one is that it's present tense. It's not I am going to, but I am already. So that's a tip. Start every affirmation with I am. And in line with what we're talking about tonight, how about I am abundant?
I'm abundantly blessed, or I'm abundant.
I'm just abundant, I'm abundantly blessed. And, obviously we have many thoughts going around our minds every day. I counted them one day, they're about 60,000. And I was very bored that day, so I just sat and counted my thoughts. No, I didn't. The science has shown us that we think between 40 and 70,000 thoughts a day. And if you say, I'm abundant, and you only say it once a day, that as a percentage of 60,000 is minuscule and isn't going to change the vibration of field that you're emitting with your thoughts and your emotions. So for an affirmation to really work, you have to say it over and over and over again, hundreds of times a day. I know Louise Hay said a minimum of 200 times a day for any affirmation.
And preferably to feel it inside you.
That's right. That is the secret. When you say an affirmation, yeah, it won't necessarily be true in the beginning. You know, you can say I'm abundant, and you look at your bank balance and say, no, I'm not. But if you say it and you start to slowly add that feeling, irrespective of outside circumstances, you don't let outside circumstances rule you anymore. You start to be the creator of the vibration inside you, of the feeling inside you, of the emotion inside you. And you start to say, I am abundant. And in this moment you feel it because you've just looked at the leaves of the trees. You've held those grains of sand. You've looked at the petals of the flowers. And so in that moment you're able to feel it in that moment. And that feeling changes your reality. So an affirmation said with emotion is very, very powerful at transforming your reality. And the world has tried to control us, and now we are breaking free in the creation process of creating our own thoughts and our own emotions. This is the way forward, is to create that feeling.
I agree.
And as Michelle mentioned, the most powerful feeling that we can ever hold is gratitude. And so one of the exercises that I would like to give you tonight, and we'll end with a little meditation that entrenches this, is to start creating at the most powerful time of the day, which is when you wake up. When you wake up in the morning, your brain is relatively fresh, and as you come out of sleep, which is generally a delta state, you're coming into theta. Theta is a very, very powerful state for creating. Before you get into beta, which is your logical mind, you're still in this drifty reverie state, it's called. And in that state, if you plant feelings of gratitude in you, in the theta state, theta is a direct connection to the field. That ripples out and manifests in amazing ways in the day ahead. You don't have to wait 3 months. It happens today. So what I suggest, one of the tools that I suggest is, as you wake up in the morning, as you start to become aware that you are a somethingness, in that field you start implanting the vibration of abundance and gratitude. Not for anything, but just that feeling in you. So you're not grateful for the cat or the house, or you just feel this abundance in you and this gratitude, maybe just for the awareness that you are alive. How about that? And if you don't have to do it for very long. 5 minutes is enough of just bathing yourself in a feeling of gratitude and abundance. I absolutely guarantee you, your day will manifest miracles for you. It's unbelievable how quickly it happens. And don't, the ego, wants a big miracle. Be satisfied with even small miracles. Be very satisfied with that very unexpected little pleasant thing that happened to you today, that just came from nowhere. And write that down at night in a little gratitude journal. That's really important. So in the morning you create that field of gratitude within you, that feeling of abundance, of joy. And at night, before you go to sleep, just write down 10 points of gratitude. Those two exercises will guarantee they will change your life. Absolutely. Yeah. What we're saying, is it meaningful? Is it helpful? Just let us know if it is. If you have any questions, just type them out and we'll get there. We love getting questions. We absolutely thrive on questions. And one of the questions we would like to ask you tonight is, so we've been doing calls, these calls on a Sunday night and a Wednesday night, and we wondered if it is meaningful to you for us to continue both of these. We were considering just switching just to a Sunday night, but if you would like us to continue with the Wednesday night one, we will do that. And if you would like us to do that, just type that out. And also, is there any particular area that you would like us to explore together? So if you have any particular subjects or topics that you would like us to go into, just put that into the comments box, and we can get your feedback on that. Yeah. And the other thing we would like you to invite you to is the online course that we're doing at the moment. It's a 12-week process, and it's a 13-week. We've just gone through a foundation week, which was free and open to everyone. But we would like to invite you now on the 12-week journey. It's called A Journey to Freedom. And it's a very powerful course. We're going to incorporate a lot of our work that we have done separately and together. And so it's going to incorporate Michelle's creative abundance that she has as a creative being.
A bit of astrology.
Yeah, a bit of astrology.
Love calls.
And then what I have to share as well.
All sorts of stuff. And it's really going beautifully. We've got a lovely group. So you've only got one day left, because you have to, if you're going to join, you have to join by tomorrow sometime, because the course starts on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and part of that is also we have a private Facebook group, and people interacting quite nicely on that, and you bring your questions, your queries, your experiences into that group as well. And then we meet up on that group every Thursday night through Zoom. We've got a special call tomorrow night, an additional call tomorrow night on Zoom. So if you want to join, that's great. You can join our Zoom call tomorrow night if you sign up. And otherwise, every week on a Thursday night, we get together with that group. And it's a 12-week process. Each week is themed, and it's designed to take you another step towards freedom. So if you've enjoyed this evening, please take a look at our website. It's a beautiful website which Michelle has created. It really is beautiful. And it's called journeysofawakening.com. journeysofawakening.com. So join us there.
You're going to lead us through a closing meditation?
Yes, let's do that. Yes.
It's like 5 minutes.
Yeah, so let us all just center ourselves and connect with a field of love, of joy, and of gratitude. So let's just put the cards up here. Let's just put that there. There we go. Can you see us? Yeah, there we are. All right, so settle back in your chairs or your comfy cushions or wherever you're sitting at the moment. And don't exit the moment we finish, because I'm still going to share an affirmation card with the group before we leave tonight, so just stay for that. So there's going to be a short little meditation. Just focus on your breath once more. This is the easiest way to become present. The breath is something we have with us from the moment we're born until we shuttle off our mortal coil. And it's the gift of life, the breath of life. So if you're ever stressed or fearful, one conscious breath brings you back into the vertical plane, into the depth of life, into alignment with spirit. So take a deep breath in, pushing your belly button right the way out like a big ball. And then release that breath with a long sigh. Just let it all go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Another deep breath into your belly button, pushing your tummy out. So you're drawing the air right down to the bottom of your lungs. And then as you breathe out, just relax your shoulders and soften your neck muscles and your forehead and your eyelids and your hands and your feet, and just relax. Take another deep breath in, right down to your belly button. Take it right down to your toes now, filling your whole body up. And then a long, long out breath. Just sigh it all out. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Surrender to just this moment. And now surrender to life. Allow life to breathe you. Allow this wonderful intelligence called life to breathe you. Just surrender into the arms of life. Life is abundant. If you hand yourself over into the arms of life, you will lead an abundant life. So bring your awareness down your body, down your legs, into your feet and connect with Mother Earth beneath your feet. Mother Earth is abundant. She is so abundant. Connect your energy right now with this abundance of Mother Earth. Say a quiet prayer of gratitude to Mother Gaia for all that she has given you. Feel this abundance beneath your feet. Imagine of how many grains of sand there are in a handful of Mother Earth. How many grains of sand are there on this whole planet? Think of the oceans, of how vast they are, of how many drops of water in an ocean. Think of how many molecules of oxygen there is. We live on an abundant planet. Connect right now through your feet to that abundance. And now draw this abundance up your feet. Feel it maybe as a warm, tingling vibration. Maybe you want to see a color. Draw this color, this vibration, this feeling up your feet, up your legs, up your thighs, into your torso. Bring this abundance up into your chest. Feel it filling your whole chest cavity to bursting point with this feeling of abundance. Feel this abundance radiating out from your chest into the world around you, into all those that you love and you care for. Feel this abundance radiating out into the whole planet. Feel everyone on this planet being affected by this wonderful vibration of abundance that's emanating from your heart right now in this moment. So you're pulling this energy up from Mother Gaia, up your legs, into your heart, and then it bursts forward into a beautiful bubble of abundance that radiates out from you. And feel this as a joyful expression of the magnificence of your own being, connecting with the being of Mother Earth. Feel this beautiful, wonderful, exquisite feeling of abundance within you, and you radiate it out with a gentle givingness to the whole planet. Feel that feeling. And say the most powerful prayer you can ever say. Say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Fill your chest cavity with that gratitude. Thank you. Feel that vibration of gratitude radiating out, bursting forth from your chest into the world around you. Thank you. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Take an abundant in-breath, filling your whole body right down to your hands, right down to your toes, up into the top of your scalp. Fill your whole body up, 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 and then release it. Let it go, let it go. And gently, when you're ready, open your eyes. Hopefully you connected with that feeling of abundance and gratitude. That is your creation. That is your creation. And creating that feeling inside you will alter not only your life, but the lives of every single one on earth. That's how powerful we are. We are one. We're all connected.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
That's lovely.
Shall we draw an affirmation card in closing tonight? You want to draw one, Michelle? This is our affirmation. We have a WhatsApp group you can enter that WhatsApp group from journeysofawakening.com. The link is there. And I share a photograph of this affirmation on the group, which I'll put up in a few minutes. So those of you who would like to, you can print this out actually.
That's lovely.
So what is the card for
says,
tonight?
I flood my body with life and love and presence right now.
I flood my body with life and love and presence right now.
Feels
Does
like
that
what we
resonate
just
with
did.
you? That's beautiful. That's what
Yeah.
we just did. That's a confirmation of this that we just experienced together. There's the card.
Yeah.
Michelle's not making it up. Okay, it's back to front. I'll photograph that card and put it up on the WhatsApp group, which you're welcome to join. Thank you, everyone. Let us know if you want us to continue with the Sunday and the Wednesday one, and just maybe give us some questions or some topics that you'd like us to look at. Bless you all. Have a wonderful and safe and peaceful and abundant evening.
Thanks,
Love
everyone.
you all. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you.